Currently, the US dollar, the euro, the Japanese yen, and the pound sterling are the leading reserve currencies in the world. China's efforts to make its currency renminbi has met with only limited success so far. India is aiming to make the rupee a global currency. Pushing for a roadmap towards the internationalization of the rupee, the Reserve Bank of India's interdepartmental group said with India remaining one of the fastest-growing countries and showing remarkable resilience in the face of major headwinds, the rupee has the potential to become an internationalized currency. These recommendations are significant in light of the economic sanctions imposed by the US on Russia for invading Ukraine and the growing clamor for finding an alternative to the US dollar for international transactions. What is currency internationalization? Internationalization means using a currency for cross-border transactions, including for purchase of goods, services, or financial assets by non-residents. An international currency can be used by private players to settle trade or by governments to intervene in currency markets and financing balance of payments. It can also be used as a reserve currency or as capital assets by private players. The process is closely interlinked with the size of an economy and the scale of trade. What does internationalization of the rupee mean? It involves promoting the rupee for import and export trade, and then other current account transactions, followed by its use in capital account transactions. These are all transactions between residents in India and non-residents. The internationalization of the currency, which is closely interlinked with the nation's economic progress, requires further opening up of the currency settlement and a strong swap and forex market. De-dollarization, the eroding dominance of the US dollar. De-dollarization is driven by concerns about US monetary policy, geopolitical tensions, and the rising use of alternative currencies. The US dollar has long been the world's reserve currency, but its dominance is under threat. In recent years, there has been an accelerating trend towards de-dollarization as countries seek to reduce their reliance on the dollar. The dominance of the US dollar in international trade and finance has faced increasing challenges, leading to discussions about the future of global economic dynamics and the potential consequences for various stakeholders. Reasons behind de-dollarization. 1. The overdependence on a single currency exposes the nation to risks associated with fluctuations in the value of the dollar, changes in U.S. monetary policy, and potential sanctions or restrictions imposed by the U.S. The U.S. government has been running large budget deficits for years, and this has led to concerns about inflation and the value of the dollar. The U.S. has been involved in several geopolitical conflicts in recent years, including the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. These conflicts have led to increased tensions between the U.S. and other countries, which has made some countries less willing to use the dollar. 3. China is the world's second-largest economy and is becoming increasingly influential in the global trade. China has been promoting the use of its currency, the renminbi, as an alternative to the dollar. Cryptocurrencies, such as Bitcoin, are a new form of digital currency that is not subject to government control. This has made them attractive to people who are looking for an alternative to the dollar. Challenges of de-dollarization. The transition away from the US dollar as the world's reserve currency, known as de-dollarization, can be a complex and challenging process. There are a number of potential risks and disruptions that need to be carefully considered before embarking on a de-dollarization strategy. One of the biggest challenges is the potential for devaluation or loss of trust in the new currency. If the new currency is not seen as being as stable or as liquid as the dollar, it could lead to economic instability and hinder financial transactions. It is therefore important to build confidence and trust in the new currency before making the switch. Another challenge is that many commodities, such as gold and oil, are priced and traded in dollars. De-dollarization considerations for India. For developing countries like India, de-dollarization offers potential benefits, such as reduced vulnerability to U.S. monetary policy fluctuations, enhanced monetary autonomy, and improved financial stability through the diversification of reserves. However, it also poses challenges, including increased exchange rate volatility that can impact trade, investment, and capital flows. Therefore, developing countries like India should adopt a cautious and gradual approach to de-dollarization, considering the balance between potential benefits and risks. BRICS expansion plan and launching of BRICS currency to decrease influence of US dollar. The expansion of BRICS would be a major blow to the US dollar, which is currently the world's reserve currency. The US dollar is used in most international transactions, and it is also the currency of choice for many countries when they hold foreign reserves besides BRICS, would enhance its global influence, creating a more balanced multipolar world order by including other emerging economies. The BRICS group of emerging economies is planning to expand its membership and launch a new currency in an effort to decrease the influence of the US dollar in the global economy. The group currently consists of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, and it has been growing in economic and political importance in recent years. The launch of a BRICS currency would be a major step towards a more multipolar world economy. It would give countries more options when it comes to their currency reserves, and it would also make it more difficult for the US to use its financial power to exert political pressure on other countries. BRICS Bank to consider Saudi Arabia's proposal for membership. The new development bank, NDB, set up by the BRICS member states, will consider Saudi Arabia's proposal to join the cooperation. With Saudi Arabia as the head of the cartel OPEC, if it joins the bloc, there is a good chance that oil payments internationally can be delinked from the US dollar in future, and developing countries, especially India, which is a member of the BRICS and is in close cooperation with Saudi Arabia over a host of investments, can simply pay for the import of oil, which is required for energy means, with the BRICS currency when it is commenced, reducing the balance of payments burden at their end. Developing economies have had to bear the brunt of the rising dollar, which has led many to get into a debt spiral. India extends UPI payments to France after PM Modi's visit to France. On July 13, 2023, during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's state visit to France, India and France signed a groundbreaking agreement that allows Indian tourists to use India's Unified Payments Interface, UPI, for transactions in rupees. This partnership marks a significant milestone as it brings UPI, a popular mobile-based payment system, to Europe for the first time after its successful implementation in Singapore. The move is set to revolutionize the payment experience for Indian tourists in France, eliminating the need to carry foreign currency and offering convenience and flexibility. Steps by RBI for internationalization of Indian Rupee. The increasing use of the Indian Rupee in invoicing and settlement of international trade, as well as in capital account transactions, will give the local currency international acceptance, a working group of the Reserve Bank of India said. The group recommended enabling the rupee as an additional settlement currency in multilateral mechanisms such as the Asian Clearing Union. Besides, exporters should be offered equitable incentives for settling trades in rupees, it added. Over the medium term, the group recommended a review of taxes on masala bonds, or those bonds issued outside India but denominated in rupees. Internationalize the rupee while a BRICS currency loses traction. Earlier this month, the Reserve Bank of India, RBI, released a report on the rupee's internationalization. If our currency is used to settle our export/import transactions, it shifts exchange rate risk to our counterparts, which is a big plus for our firms. In parallel, there has also been talk about a BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, currency along special drawing rights lines. We should focus on popularizing the rupee as a means of bilateral exchange ahead of a BRICS currency. For the latter to succeed, the national currencies of all members must first have mutual acceptance within the group and also internationally. For BRICS countries, the de-dollarization of world financial markets is a means to enhance economic autonomy and reduce exposure to external economic shocks. The U.S.'s recent use of economic sanctions as a foreign policy tool against Russia has upped its appeal. For over a decade, BRICS have mulled a currency styled on the International Monetary Fund's SDRs, which are allotted to its member countries to help cope with emergency requirements. SDR's value is based on a basket of 5 currencies: the US dollar, euro, Chinese renminbi, Japanese yen, and the UK's pound sterling. An SDR-style reserve with BRICS currencies managed by themselves would need complete trust among the countries of this bloc. But marked differences in foreign and trade policies prevail among them, especially between India and China. For a country's currency to achieve such world dominance, its economy must be large, open to free trade in goods and services, and also open to flows of foreign investment in and out. It must have a deep financial market, and its banks should have a significant presence worldwide. The country should have low and stable inflation and a credible fiscal policy that supports confidence in the currency's value. Conclusion: as long as the U.S. continues to provide stability, credibility, and attractive opportunities compared to other options, the world will likely continue to rely on the U.S. dollar. However, if a viable alternative currency emerges that offers similar advantages, the breaking point for the U.S. dollar and its dominance could occur.